The Gordie Howe International Bridge is almost finished, a $4.8 billion project linking Detroit and Windsor. But instead of being celebrated as a triumph of engineering and diplomacy, it now sits at the center of a breaking political and economic battle between the United States and Canada. What was meant to be a superhighway of commerce is caught in the crossfire of tariffs, trade wars, and shifting alliances that could reshape North America's future. This isn't just about concrete and cables. It's about power, trust, and whether two of the closest allies in the world can still work together in an era of protectionism. At the center are two leaders with very different visions: President Trump in Washington and Prime Minister Mark Carney in Ottawa. Their decisions will decide whether this bridge becomes a symbol of renewed partnership or a monument to division. To understand the stakes, we need to rewind. For decades, the Ambassador Bridge has carried billions of dollars in trade across the Detroit River. But it's outdated, overstressed, and unable to meet modern demands. The Gordie Howe International Bridge was designed as the solution, a modern artery for $100 billion in annual trade, with 6 lanes, dedicated truck routes, and streamlined customs. It's a lifeline for industries like auto manufacturing, agriculture, and energy that depend on seamless cross-border movement. But just as construction neared completion, the political landscape shifted. The U.S. imposed sweeping tariffs, first 25% on Canadian steel and aluminum, then a shocking 35% tariff on all Canadian goods. Official justifications ranged from national security to trade deficits, but the effect was immediate. Supply chains unraveled, businesses lost contracts overnight, and long-standing trust eroded. Canada retaliated under Carney's leadership, hitting American agricultural exports and manufactured goods with counter-tariffs. Suddenly, two countries that built their economies together were trading blows like adversaries. The fallout has been devastating. In western New York, nearly 1 million fewer Canadians are crossing the border each year. Shopping centers that once relied on Canadian customers now stand half-empty. Restaurants, hotels, and cultural venues report losses of up to 60% of their patrons. In Michigan, projections show up to 13,000 jobs at risk, mostly in auto and manufacturing. Workers are bracing for layoffs as suppliers struggle to absorb higher costs. Factories designed around just-in-time shipping across the border now face delays, tariffs, and crippling uncertainty. This is not just economics, it's personal. Border communities that once thrived on shared culture now feel divided. Events that once celebrated unity struggle to draw participants. The Rainbow Bridge sees 20% fewer travelers. Families who used to cross the border for shopping or traditions now think twice. What was once seamless is now strained. Meanwhile, global politics complicate the picture. Canada is pivoting toward Europe and the UK, signing new trade agreements to offset U.S. unpredictability. Washington's tariffs aren't limited to Canada. They've targeted Mexico, Brazil, and even the European Union. Each move sparks retaliation, creating ripple effects across the global economy. Allies who once viewed the U.S. as a stable partner now describe it as risky and erratic. That brings us back to the Gordie Howe International Bridge. It rises as a bold symbol of what cooperation can achieve, but it cannot erase tariffs or rewrite trade policy. A bridge is infrastructure, not diplomacy. Until the political barriers fall, its full potential will remain locked. Businesses are ready, workers are waiting, and communities are desperate for relief. But the future of this project, and of U.S.-Canada trade, now depends on choices made in Washington and Ottawa. The contrast between Trump and Carney could not be sharper. Trump's America First strategy treats trade as a zero-sum game, using tariffs as leverage. Carney responds with firmness, building alliances abroad while refusing to concede at home. Neither side is backing down, and dialogue between the two leaders is at a historic low. What used to be technical trade disputes have become matters of national pride. All eyes are now on the 2026 USMCA review. That deadline could be the moment that decides whether the rift heals or deepens. For businesses and workers, the next 18 months are critical. Will leaders put aside politics and restore stability, or will tariffs harden into a permanent barrier? The bridge is finished, but its role in history is still unwritten. What's at stake is enormous. The U.S.-Canada economic relationship isn't just about trade, it's about a seamless ecosystem. Car parts, agricultural goods, and energy move back and forth multiple times, supporting millions of jobs. Michigan alone trades $77 billion with Canada every year. Disrupt that system, and you unravel the very fabric of North American prosperity. The Gordie Howe Bridge stands ready as a $4.8 billion argument against protectionism. It is steel and concrete proof that integration makes both nations stronger. But without trust, it risks becoming a relic of missed opportunities. The clouds above and waters below mirror the uncertainty. Will this span carry communities into a future of cooperation, or will it stand silent, a reminder of what division costs? The next moves by Trump and Carney will shape this continent for years to come. The bridge is ready to serve. The real question is whether the politicians are. If you found this breakdown useful, hit like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the Gordie Howe International Bridge will fulfill its promise or fall victim to politics? Stay tuned because the next decisions could reshape North America's future.